So if you've ever seen the stream, you would see we're going live now. If you've ever seen the stream, you'd see that now we have the no PewDiePie and the we like the Wall Street Journal. So that's what we're all about. Yeah. Um, yeah, we're here today with Jorge, right? And you do the podcast of Learn to Code, where you're talking about the experience in learning to code and how that's not as easy as people make it seem to be. Uh huh. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, yeah. That's a little bit. Yeah, but the thing is, like, people were saying that, like, I read one tweet where it was telling them to learn to code is like basically trying to silence the journalists with violence, which I thought was kind of interesting because on the surface it sounds like, oh, that's kind of ridiculous. You're just telling somebody to learn to code. That's not violence, right? But if you think about it a little bit deeper, like these are folks whose job is essentially to see something and then tell other people what they saw, and that's what journalism is, right? And yeah, yeah, but like they're even sometimes struggling with that. So given that that's a bit of a struggle for them, it's like if you think of the brain as like a muscle, right? If you try to lift too much, you're gonna injure yourself. You're gonna pull a muscle, right? So if they try doing something like coding, that might be a bit too much. They might if they pull a brain injury, that would be very bad, maybe even fatal. So this is why it's considered violence. That's what I found out after doing some investigation. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Uh huh. Okay. Oh, okay. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, yes. Oh, okay. Uh, T- Tim Tim Pool. I think I've heard of this guy. He's another YouTuber, right? Uh huh. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Uh huh. No. You mean me or the journalist in the? Ah, okay. Uh huh. Hmm. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. Mostly BuzzFeed, right? BuzzFeed is, I think, what was mostly who was getting laid off. I think, from what I was hearing. Okay. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, it's the business of attention. It's like it's almost like what they have this term on the internet, attention whoring, where you basically try to get as much attention as possible. But this is like a monetization of that internet trend that they've applied to, well, they call it journalism now, but it's like the internet version, basically. This is the kind of situation that we're dealing with on the internet at the moment. They've monetized it, which is something that people have been trying to do for a while, and I think it really was because of Twitter that they were able to pull that off. But as you're saying, they're not getting enough attention. Basically, they're not doing a good enough job of capturing people's attention. Um, I don't really know because I don't actually pay attention, so I'm probably the worst person to ask about that. Oh, okay. Of why they're not getting attention, like well, usually for me, when I'm not paying attention, it's usually because something is boring. So yeah, yeah. So I think that might be what it is. It might be like that is boring, right? And it's like yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Well, they had a lot of articles that people would actually want to read in the past, like articles that had to do with uh I think it was more like what was trending almost, right? It was like they were filing they were showing what was trendy, and then just making it easy for you to access what is really trendy at the moment. I think that's originally what they did, or were they doing something else? Uh, uh, mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. Uh, all right. Mm, yeah. So they were pushing like they weren't trying to be the news. They were trying to be entertainment. Then at that point. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Uh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, Donald Trump. Yeah. Uh huh. Uh huh. Yeah. But you know, like two presidents ago, back when George W. Bush was the president, a lot of entertainment media would make fun of the president a lot. But I think that a big difference is they tried to maintain the comedy as the primary element, rather than like the focus on just being really upset at the president at that time. This is back in like 2000, like pre 2008 maybe, like so like 2000 to 2008, around that time period. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes. Uh-huh. Oh, okay. Uh-huh. Oh, but Vice was were they? I thought they were like more like a celebrity oriented type thing. Like they were. I mean, I'm not sure, but it's either Vice or another one I'm thinking of. But they mostly focus on like celebrities rather than like than the politics. Oh, okay. Hmm. Oh, okay. uh, yeah, 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 yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, like especially with like YouTube, like what we do is we have like our own channels. You can make your own thing. You're using audio only for your podcast, right? So um, y- mhm. It was yeah. Ah, okay, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you can put the link in the chat, and I'll link the thing in our video description so that people can check it out if they like the video. Okay. Hmm. Oh, okay. But the audio was what was available initially. Hmm. Oh, okay. Hmm. Oh, I see. Oh, that's cool. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That is good. Yeah. So you're gonna show like the screen of like the programming interface that you're using, like whether it's an IDE or Notepad or something, right? Like something like that, or okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Yes. Yes. SQL is a programming language for databases, basically. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh, the hackers. Ah. Oh, so you were basically one of like the bad guy hackers back in the day. Uh, oh, okay, yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Oh, okay. Mm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There were people. I think in like the Midwest and stuff. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Uh huh. Uh huh. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Uh huh. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of people got banned. I think a lot of people that I talked to on Discord, they ended up getting banned. It's like I think there was like a almost like a contest of some sort to see like how many hashtags you could put in before you could get bans. And it's like, oh, it's like, can you tweet learn to code like this many times? But it's like the rules are you have to be directing it at a journalist when you're using the hashtag. And then that was like the contest. Not quite sure what happened, what became of it, who ended up winning because all the people who were doing it got banned. So it's hard to find out the results. Okay, okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. To the yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Uh. Yeah. And that's from somebody who actually works with like computers at this point. Yeah. 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 They don't see everything. Yeah. 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 But in actuality, it takes a lot of effort to get there in the first place. Yeah. Uh. Yeah. Okay. Uh. Hmm. Hmm. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Hmm. Oh, okay. Um, I don't think it was really that successful. I think that it was I think it was one of those things where like, Obama comes on and then like he talks a bit and then like they put it on all the TVs and stuff, but no one really kind of pays attention. No, that's like it's like kind of like the Obama show. Like it's similar to like the political version of Seinfeld where you don't have to pay too much attention to it, but you know that it's on and like yeah. I mean that's kind of like what happened a lot in during the last presidency. Um, yeah. So we didn't we didn't learn. They didn't like really do that. They might have changed it now in like elementary schools, but I don't think they really have. I haven't been to elementary school in a while, so yeah. Okay. Yeah, the movies are kind of cheesy about that, but yeah, they have like a them typing, and what's on the screen is basically a screensaver, and that's basically what they were doing on the movies. I mean, I'd argue that like when it comes to learning how to code, that you probably going to the people who do the movies is probably on the same level as going to the people who do reporting when it comes to getting their opinion on coding. It's probably somewhat similar. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hmm. Yeah, there are a lot. I don't know if they all come from the U.S. You also have a lot of app development too, where you develop apps for businesses. A lot of it is essentially a localized version of outsourcing. So it's apps to outsource your local things like your chores or something like that. That's it seems to be what the majority of your apps are that are developed in the U.S. are for. Hey, so see, America's it seems like America's biggest invention is outsourcing. So they've actually created like an outsourcing industry, which is in the American app development, scene. So the way that the American app developers they do, like they'll do like TaskRabbit, where it's an app where you can outsource like your chores. They have like a laundry one where like you can have someone do your laundry. They have Uber, which is like a driving um, or taxi cab hailing replacement app. It's basically like just outsourcing the other. They've gotten to the point where they're trying to outsource all of like the trivial things of life to someone else. Um, I don't know. I mean, like I don't even really use most of these apps. Like I'm actually like, as soon as I'm able to get, uh, um, I I don't know. You know what? I'm actually not quite sure because I think what a lot of these people are doing is they're getting part time jobs working for companies, like getting the outsourced work of these apps. So it's like you have some guy who's paying someone to do their laundry, and then that guy who works for the laundry app is paying someone on Uber to drive him, like on his day off after he's made some money doing someone else's laundry, and then it's like kind of like a circle that way. Either that or you actually have some guy who is using all the apps and just like saving all this time. And uh, I don't know. I assume I don't even know. Like, does he go fishing? Does I mean, with all that time, I guess he can learn to code at that point, and then he use that coding knowledge to make another app, and then there you go. Part time is when you are, in general, in the U.S. It's considered when you work less than 40 hours per week. That's considered part time. Like if you work less than 40 hours a week, then the company doesn't have to give you any benefits or anything like that. It's a little bit weird. Like it's like some labor law type thing. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh okay. They are jobs that you can work more than that, like just yeah, and not get paid extra. Like it depends on the job though. But when it comes to like an hourly wage job, usually they keep you at less than 40 hours, so they don't have to pay you benefits like healthcare and stuff like that. I don't know. I guess it depends on who's what. I mean, I don't I don't know who's using the laundry app. I think like that particular app, I think they might not have been successful because there was a huge controversy where someone was applying for a job as a laundry like a launderer for that laundry app. No, 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 no. I think it was a woman or something. And then like after she applied, like they had like she had an interview, and then she emailed them asking what her salary would be, and then the recruiter said, "Oh, you asked about salary. That shows that your values are not aligned with our company, so we're not going to hire you." And then she's like, "Yeah, yeah." So then she was like, "Wait, what? This is nonsense." So she like screenshots that email. Yeah, yeah. Basically, that's like the idea is like you're gonna work and get paid for it, right? So she screenshots that email and like uploads it to Twitter or something, and then everybody's like, "Yo, this company sucks," and then they just organized like a boycott. So I don't think that laundry app was successful. I don't know if they're still around, but that was just an example of an app. So like the laundry one, all right, that one's not around, but you got like the Seamless, which is like a food delivery app, which is not really too different from how people used to deliver, which is like they used to call the restaurant to order the food to get delivered, something like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Uber Eats is something that we also have, and then also, but then they have another one called like a Seamless, which is like a it's just food only. It's basically the Uber Eats section of Uber, but without the rest of Uber, right? And I think here we had that first, and then Uber like implemented Uber Eats because they wanted to get some of that food delivery market. Yeah. Um, the ones that can afford it, actually. Yeah. Um, well, it depends on who. Some people they don't really use the apps a lot because like they're not making a lot of money. So like, I have some friends who they live very frugally, so they're not gonna spend money on the apps and stuff like that. So and then just like do your own laundry so you save money on the laundry so you don't have to pay and then uh well it depends on yeah well I mean it depends on how much money you're making like if you're making minimum wage. Well, the thing is, here's the thing. Like, it also depends on where in the U.S. you live too, because in certain areas the prices are different. So in New York City, things are going to be pretty expensive. But if you go to like some other place, like some parts of Georgia, like you can like I guess rent is a good example, right? Like you could rent an apartment. It's going to be like a couple $100 to $1,000, couple thousand in New York, right? And then if you go yeah, if you go to like Georgia, I think you can get like an apartment for like maybe like $50 or so, like for like I don't know if it's exactly $50 a month, but it's like the difference is huge. Oh, okay. Um, well, a couple months, but it's not very consistent because it takes some time to find somebody to come on, and then you have to schedule it and all that. Um, yeah, I mean, we had Jan Ronkowski, who's a he's a very cool guy who had a lot of performance art, you know. He did a lot of performance arts that lasted for 3 years, and that's a very impressive thing. Like not breaking character, and he was such a good actor that he managed to get everybody going along with it. So that was a really an impressive feat, and it was all on the internet too, right? This is like internet history right here because it was like this guy had his thing on the internet. It was like the Truman Show. It's kind of like a reverse Truman Show, but on the internet, and then like that's kind of like that movie right there, except the opposite. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it was great. It was great. That's all you got to know. Like there are other channels that do a better job of explaining it than me, because they actually go into some detail. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, yeah. Because you can block them, and then they're not going to talk to you. No. Yeah. 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 Mhm. Oh, that's yeah. So this guy Null, right? He's the guy who does the Kiwi Farms website. It's a forum where they document lol cows. The people who they make a fool of themselves on the internet, and then like a lot of people think it's funny. So the Kiwi Farms forum, what they do is when someone makes a fool of themselves, they keep a record of it and they document it, and they like they take screenshots, videos, whatever thing, and they just save all of it, and they're like, yo, this is we're going to preserve this as part of like internet history and culture, right? Yeah. And like like not like when they're talking about history, they're not talking about like, oh, we had Obama, we had Trump, we had Bush, and then like George no, 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 forget all that. No, no, it's the guy who made a video of himself like trying to like juggle a dog or something, and like well, it's not just him. He's the administrator of the website, but a lot of people are members on the website, and then they can just post whatever they find on it, right? And yeah, but he got into a lot of like disagreements with people. Yeah. So what happened was, for example, he got swatted. I think at some point. Yeah, that's not good because like a lot of people were getting really upset at him, right? And they were messing with him and stuff like that because he's hosting a website that keeps a record of these people that are doing these obnoxious things. And some of these people, like what they do is actually bad. Like some of them are like breaking the law and doing some like really like terrible stuff, right? Well, I mean, it gets a little darker when we start getting into the furries and stuff like about the furries. Do they have that in Mexico? Okay. Yeah, because like see, the thing is, like in America, a lot of people don't really have a good understanding of Mexico. Like I've been to Mexico, but I've only been to Cozumel, and that's really the only city I've been to. And um, I, right now, well, when I went, I had trouble breathing in that air, the air for some reason. I was coughing a lot. Um, so that's all I can really remember is that I couldn't breathe. I was just like coughing the whole time. I was like, oh, wait, who? Null? Yeah. Oh, like I think some of the people, it's the people who have like their antics online have been saved on his website, and they want their history taken down. They want it erased because they don't like the evidence being up there. Basically, yeah. Well, uh, yeah. Well, Here's the thing though, on Facebook you can lie, right? I mean, I lie to Facebook all the time. Like I give them like a fake birth date, I give them a fake birth year. Oh, I don't upload those videos either. Like what you do is you take your phone. Your phone's always recording. You put it in like a box that you have like you have the video camera pointed at. Do you know those shock images like Tub Girl or Goatse? Right, those shock images, right? You have the camera, you put it on a mount facing a picture of that 24/7. Anytime they want to spy on you, that's what they get, right? Like that was my solution to the Connect that had to be on all the time. And it's like, oh, you can't have your Xbox unless you have a Connect. And I'm like, I didn't buy an Xbox, but if I had one and I had to get the Connect, I would basically have like the Connect pointed at one of those pictures, like whenever I'm not using it. And then when I need to use it, then I'll use it. Otherwise, here you go, right? mm, I mean, I think a lot of people like, well, in America at least, a lot of people want to be recorded because they have everybody has like a dream of being famous, right? So not everyone. Well, I think what happens is people have the dream of being famous, and then they become infamous, and then they realize after the fact that like that was not such a good idea. So that's basically what happens. So like one of the things is one of the more recent things is like you had like the zoo sadists, like, right, like these furries that were like taking it a bit too far. And I think one of them. Mhm. Oh, okay. This is like one of like the more extreme groups where they would really do illegal things and bad things, right? And the no, like abusing animals, right? And that's really messed up, right? So what these guys on the Kiwi farms, like some of them were like researching this stuff, and then they were contacting the police department. I think one of them was in another country where I forgot what country it was in, but the guy ended up getting arrested. So they got someone arrested because that guy was actually breaking the law, right? So, you know, there's a case like that. So you have I think that guy got put in jail, so he didn't retaliate. But I think like the other furries are like trying to retaliate like on his behalf. But then you have like other people who retaliate for similar things. Like they're not necessarily the furries, but other people who have had their things documented on the Kiwi farms, and then they retaliate against him. So Null right now no longer lives in the United States. He lives in Eastern Europe, in a Slavic country. I'm not sure which country it is. It's either Russia or one of the countries that is next to Russia. And and he basically says that it's the country he lives in, or the area he lives in, is very inexpensive. Everything is very cheap. So he doesn't make a lot of money, but he doesn't have to spend a lot of money. Yeah, yeah. So and that's because of the internet, because he makes his money through, like, some people either send him a check or they'll send him like cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or something. And even though it's not a lot of money, he's able to make it stretch, and because he's using the internet as a means of survival at this point, which is kind of interesting. It's like, you know, yeah, yeah. I mean, he's done a more interesting thing than I did. Like, the only online job I've ever had was transcribing stuff, or where I had to work as a transcriber, where I would listen to audio recordings and type out what everybody says, and I would have to format it so that it could be clearly read. And that job did not pay that much. That's not a good job. That's not a good internet job. But I needed a job at that time. I needed to make some money. So yeah, I was not making like a living. I was still in school, so I was basically just needing to make a little bit of money for to have a little bit of money. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, okay. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, they were talking about it on like Twitter and stuff. Like they were like talking about like stuff with animals that they wanted to do and that they supposedly had done and stuff like that. They were being like kind of like anonymous, but like on Twitter and Twitter's not banning them. Like telling someone to learn to code is very dangerous, but talking about wanting to kill animals and stuff, that's not a problem. So yeah, uh, I'm assuming mostly in California and mostly in the either Bay Area or Los Angeles, but I think the age varies between like 20s and 30s mostly. No, because BuzzFeed wouldn't be allowed to hire a 14-year-old. Like I think you have to be at least like 18 or something to work for them or something like that, or at least 16. Yeah, yeah, mm, ish. Because here's the thing, right? One of my co-hosts, that's his forte, but he's in Japan right now. We sent him on a recon mission to do some research over there. So we had another guy who did that too. You know what? These are the my co-hosts, but as you can see, they're not here, right? So in America, we had we had this meme, right? And the meme was you have to go to college to get an education, otherwise you're not going to get a job and you're not going to be able to do anything with your life. That's basically the meme that was pushed, right? But did they do? But did they tell you that you have to go to college, otherwise you're not going to do anything? Did they say that, like, do they basically make it sound like you just go to college, it doesn't matter what you study, just go. And uh, uh ooh, yeah. Hey man. I got to tell you, like, that's something. Mhm. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. All right, that's really good then. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Uh, oh, yeah. But so your parents had like a direction that they were trying to push you towards when they sent you to college though, right? Like yeah. Mhm. Yeah. But see, the thing is here in America they didn't push that. They're not like, "Oh, you got to go to college so you can become an engineer, or you got to go to college, you got to become a doctor." They're both like, "You got to go to college because you got to go to college." Like no specific reason why, right? They're like not like, oh, go to college and become a nurse because like that's a very good profession, right? Yeah, yeah. But the thing is that that's not what they were. That's not they were not being like very. They were being very vague about that. It's like they were pushing like you go to college and you study something, but like not really showing you like it's more like you go to college and then a bunch of question marks and then you get a job. That's basically the message they gave. Like he's like, oh yeah, like college, something, and then job. Yeah, but the thing is, like a lot of kids, they went to college. A bunch of them graduate from college. Um, the well, I'd say the meme degree is like either a liberal arts or some kind of humanities, right? So, you have a lot of people who graduate with like they might graduate with an English degree or a history degree. Well, that the thing is, a lot of these kids didn't have rich parents, so they had to take out student loans, right? So all these kids now, yeah. So like now, like you got a lot of kids who are like in debt, right? So they basically like established like a debt slave class almost, right? Where it's like, yeah, and then like of course like it turned out to be like a lie that like as long as you go to college, it doesn't matter what you study. Uh-huh. Hmm. They had a weird system. Like you have to pay off at least a little bit of the debt, like every amount. They calculate it based on your income, right? And eh, kind of for I think it was like maybe 30 years that like if you don't if you can't pay it off within 30 years, then you can like declare bankruptcy on that specific loan or something. Yeah, probably like 50 something at that point usually. Like, yeah, I guess. Yeah, but this was pushed like a lot of people will say like, oh, like the current government, but this has been we're supposed to be a lot of things actually, but yeah, well, it's a little bit weird because while that kind of is somewhat the case, there's yeah, because the thing is like you're not paying the entirety of the loan back. So it's like it's more like an additional tax that they're taking on you, right? So and then and then I have another friend who what he did was he took an interesting route. So this is another, I guess you could say it's like a life hack, but it you may not want to do this life hack because it may have negative repercussions, okay? So my friend, he went to college, took out student loans, all government loans, right? So it's the government, not like a private bank, just only student government loans. And then he graduated, and then he moved to Germany, and then he never came back, and never paid back the loan. So yeah, yeah, that's a yeah. I mean, that's almost like going to Norway and deciding like, okay, we go to Norway because I don't know if you're familiar with prisons in Norway, right? But I've it's been described. Yeah, I mean, but because of the internet, now you have Skype, so you can have a video. But they can visit him, I guess, but he cannot visit them. I guess it's like just a one way visitation thing. So yeah, yeah. So that's it's a way, but it's not necessarily what you would want to do. So yeah, yeah. I mean that would be like coming up with a plan saying like, oh, you could just go to Norway, commit some crimes, and go to prison there, and then it's like going to college. Because some people from Norway, like what they say, they describe prison in Norway as it's like living in a college college dormitory. Like you have a dormitory, you have like a common room, you have internet, you have a computer. It's like yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's like when you go out to college, a lot of Americans when they go to college, like they're leaving their parents for a while anyway. So you can just go to Norway, commit some yeah, commit some minor crimes, and it's your tenure abroad right there. Yeah. Oh yeah, so it's similar, in like a lot of Asian countries, like drugs in general are like really severe. Like yeah, I mean, just look at the Philippines. They have a literal war on drugs there. Like the American war on drugs is more like yeah, yeah, well, yeah. But the American war on drugs is more like we're going to arrest some people who smoke pot or whatever, and then find them, and then we're gonna just send some guns to Mexico because that somehow helps, and then like as I understand it, they didn't give the guns to the Mexican government. They gave the guns to the cartels, like by accident, like they were trying to do it as like a sting operation, but then they lost the guns, and then they were like, oh, I guess they have the guns now, and then like I don't know. So, is it true that like that China is bankrolling the drugs in Mexico, or is that oh it is? Oh snap! Because like there was this guy on YouTube, I forgot his name, but he was basically saying that like oh like China is like the whole drug thing is basically being like bankrolled by China as like a payback for like the opium wars from back in the day or whatever, and I'm like, he sounded a little bit like yeah 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 largely at the hands of the British, but wasn't it the British who was forcing the opium on them or like oh hey what's up man how's it going we just had someone going in. Yeah, we were talking about like somehow we got onto the topic of the cartels and then how like China's behind it and then like the opium wars. So yeah. Well, I like to think I like to think of myself as more of a ripoff of Stefan Molyneux rather than Joe Rogan, because this show is called like yeah because see well no Stefan Molyneux is the guy who says that he has a philosophy show but he like never talks about philosophy, so like that's my show right here. This is Business Boys, and now we're talking about the opium wars in China. This is called Business Boys, right? Yeah, this is like what did you think this show was about? Like yeah, I mean, this channel is like, first of all, it's like in America, like having a business is a great excuse to write off things that you buy on your taxes, right? Like, as long as you use it for the business. So, you know, no, you don't lie to your government. What you do is see that's the problem with the thought audit, right? We covered this several episodes ago. These girls, they're going on camera, they're getting donations from guys to do these erotic shows, and they're not paying their taxes, right? But what they should have done was they should have reported their taxes and then write off all the equipment they buy, all the dildos they buy, all the computers, all that stuff. They could write that off, and that's legitimately business right there. But they didn't do that. They decided to not pay taxes, and now they're getting audited. See? Well, they should, but they weren't paying taxes, so therefore they weren't. See? That's the thing. They weren't paying their taxes. Huh? It should be taxed. I mean, first of all, you're paying sales tax probably. I don't know how it works exactly. And then they have to pay income tax. That's a separate tax. Oh, you mean the ones in Nevada? Because prostitution is only legal in Nevada, and everywhere else. Yeah, yeah. Like in Nevada, it's legal, but you have to have a license to run a brothel. No, it's illegal in everywhere except Nevada. But in Nevada, they're regulated. You need to have a license. So yeah. Uh, All right. Uh, yeah, yeah, the webcam girls, like they have to pay taxes on their income if they do that. Well, I mean, that all started around 1913, though. The income tax, as it is now, was introduced in 1913 after the formation of the Federal Reserve in 1910. Now, the Federal Reserve is a banking cartel where all of these banks got together and said, "Hey, why don't we just control the money?" And then they put together the Federal Reserve Bill. They gave it to the Congress, and Congress was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And then like they signed it. Well, I mean, I don't. This was like a century ago. This is like 1910. This is like before World War One, basically. It was a long time ago. Um, the Great Depression was after that, and also the recession that happened under Coolidge, which was actually short. It was only 6 months long. Mm, yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of people think that. See, this guy over here, GabrahamSandwich, he's a fellow dickhead, as they say. Dick Masterson. Are you familiar with him? Okay. Yeah, he's America's best Mexican. He was elected that accolade. Yeah. Oh, okay. In America, we have uh uh okay. So here, oh yeah, man. Yo, that's no, oh, come on, man. Do you know how many people like freaking learn Japanese so they can play all these weeb games and whatnot? Like, yo, basically the same thing. Uh-huh. Yeah. It's easier now because of like all the apps and like programs and stuff. Like it's definitely easier to do that now. Um, so you just oh okay. Uh huh. You know what's funny? Some people who like anime when they watch like in America, like some people they try to get the subtitles, but if they can't find it in English, they'll try to find the Spanish subtitles, and then like if they know some Spanish, they can just go through that route instead, and then yeah, yes, yeah, yeah. Well, that actually they started off as a piracy website, and then I think they got in trouble, but then they started like saying, okay, we're gonna get licenses now, and then Yeah, but they used to do illegal dissemination of anime. They would yeah they would pirate the anime, like the videos. They would put the videos before, and they would make their money off of advertisements. But then they started acquiring the licenses so that they weren't illegal anymore. And it's interesting because they ended up pissing off a lot of fans with their whole instead of instead of using the money that the subscribers are paying to get more licenses, which is what they wanted, or upgrading the site so that it would be more secure and better. Yeah, but what they ended up spending the money on was to fund what is it called? High Guardian Spice, their original OC anime. Like they wanted to make like their OC characters and all that, and the advertisement for it didn't even explain what the show was about. Their advertisement was literally, well, their advertisement was saying, "Oh, the authors are all women." Like, uh huh. Well, here's here's the thing, man. See, when it comes to those dolls, here's a life hack pro tip, right? So those figurines, those pillows, and all that stuff, all that is like super expensive, and like you got to put it stuff. It takes up space, and it's like kind of cumbersome. What you do, you can collect all your waifu things and whatnot, but instead of collecting figures and spending money on it, you go and collect like pictures that you could use as desktop backgrounds on your computer and just save them to your hard drive, and then like and just collect that instead. So you're still collecting stuff, and it's still like yeah, and it's free. Yeah, so like that's a good pro tip right there. No, 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 no. I'm saying download like pictures like CGs and like whatever like drawings. Like interrogator. You know how he's always posting those buns and all that stuff. Like you can. It's basically yeah. Basically, it's that. It's that, but with girls and not with the rabbit, right? That's basically what I'm saying. Okay, so okay, let me explain to Jorge because he's not in the other Discord, but in the Dick Show, the he's a guy who makes a podcast, and his fans that subscribe to Patreon get access to a Discord, and there's a guy on there called Interrogator who has some would argue less than healthy fascination with a rabbit character from Made in Abyss called Nanachi. Um, it's this rabbit that's also a person, kind of. And what he does, well, in the anime, it was a guy who turned into a rabbit because of a curse. In the anime, it was a boy who turned into a rabbit because of a curse. But I think it's a boy. I mean, they don't outright say it, but I assume. I mean, also Nanachi kind of sounds a bit masculine, so I'm just assuming it's a guy. And so then, like, okay. So this guy interrogator, he likes to post pictures of that rabbit, and then he had done it so much that he even posted on Twitter and got Dick Masterson to ask his life coach about the character, and that got some pretty interesting reactions from some people in the Discord. Some people are very irritated, huh? I think it might be he's like doing it as a meme, right? Oh, well, I mean, like I'm American enough. Like I'll phrase it like that. How's that sound? Well, that's because you're meeting them on the internet. When you meet them on the internet, that's to be expected. Yeah. Oh, uh, that's because when you're on the internet, you're either one of the people who is weird or one of the people who's been exposed to that, so you're not surprised by it anymore. I think that's what it is. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it is easy to get comfortable around Interrogator because he's like, his avatar is also the rabbit too, right? Like that's uh, yeah, yeah, we call it Bun. We call the rabbit Bun for as a nickname. Um, and the meme is that he posts that like all the time, but then the other half of the meme is that you have to react to it, either being pissed off at him, like you have to either like hate on him like mad hard, or you have to like make like some kind of vaguely sexual comment about the bun that he posted, and like those are the two meme reactions to him memeing his bun posting. Well, yeah, but I think that it's part of the meme now that like someone has to be pissed off about it, and then someone also has to be like mad like in favor of it. Like at this point, like do you think that Phase is actually getting pissed off like whenever whenever Interrogator posts the bun, and it's like oh, Phase is Phase is somebody who does who has a Patreon and basically gets paid to draw gender bender artwork of Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, and this is the person who's getting mad at Interrogator for bun posting all the time. Yeah. Oh really? I thought you were just joking. I thought you were just like, "Oh, you fucking Interrogator!" Like I thought you were just like joking. Oh, and then he just like pushes the text like off the screen because he like puts like a tall picture or something like that. Like yeah. Oh okay. Uh, There was there was actually a serious conversation that we were having about I forgot what it was. It was probably either economics related or politics related, and then or history. I think it was like a historical discussion type thing, and no, 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 no. We were talking about. I think I was talking about like because I had actually taken a science course. It was taught by like science professors. It was a biology course, but they were basically talking about their new theory of human evolution regarding uh, the effect of firearms on the development of humanity, and not only firearms, but like just weapons in general, and um, how how it transforms. Huh? So yeah, yeah. Basically, the way that you can kill other people directly affects the way that conflict of interest is managed, and that directly affects how the society gets formed. Well, the idea, yeah. Mm. Well, yeah. So basically, one of the points that they bring up is like whenever you do historical archaeological digs on wherever you go all over the earth, when you do archaeology, you find that anywhere that developed an agricultural society where they can plant and harvest crops and stuff, that agricultural society arose. It was always preceded at least 100 years first by the introduction of the bow and arrow. So before a civilization could get to the point of developing agriculture, they first had to have the bow and arrow as like a method of killing people, basically. So, well, it could be used for hunting too, but the point is that in order to develop an agrarian society, you need to have a level of interpersonal cooperation that's high enough to get that going, and the ability to kill from a distance makes it so that people who are in a group are always at an advantage against people who are like not in the group, who are not cooperating with the group, right? So for example, let's say you look at like a lion or something like that, right? You have like the alpha male lion who is big enough that they can defeat any other male lion. Um, yeah, so they can basically push it. They can do whatever they want. Essentially, no one can really stop them until they become big enough and strong enough to take them out. Even if two or three of them were trying to gang up on them at once, if he is big and strong enough, he can defeat them. Basically, so with humans, I think initially it developed with their ability to throw a rock, like throw rocks with more accuracy and force than like any other. Like a monkey can't really throw with the same level of force and accuracy as a human, or at the same distance even. So because they were interested in the development of human society, so they were the researchers. Yeah, because they were evolutionary biologists, and they were deciding they were researching, but then they're researching basically somebody who studies evolution. So like from a biological standpoint, yeah. So they're actually looking at like speciation, where like the species deviate to like a separate species and stuff like that. So they're tracing it back. So like I remember our first lecture was talking about Lucy, the first human skeleton that archaeologists had uncovered and stuff like that. So um, so this is the kind of topic that we were discussing, right? And then after making several points about this, because I was trying to introduce this idea because I thought this was a very interesting course that I had taken, um, interrogator then posts a picture of the rabbit looking a little bit confused. Like, yeah. So he's responding like with the rabbit as his like reaction. It's like, huh? Like he's confused, right? And then yeah. Yeah, I was because like typing it out. It's again, this was like a course that they taught for like a full semester, which was several months. Whereas I'm just trying to give like a quick rundown of what I remember from a course I took years ago, right? So it's like well, that was actually an exam question where, according to the theory of human evolution that they're posing, which of these animals would be the most likely to develop a greater level of intelligence and more developed society, and that they have like it was a multiple choice question. It's like some kind of like tiger that like develops night vision or something, like some other thing, and one of them was a mouse that evolves like an ability to launch like a missile attack through like a back spine growth that it has, and like that's the correct answer. The mouse that can shoot a missile, basically. No, it's that a mouse could have a massive advantage over. Well, the term they use is conspecific, somebody who wouldn't contribute to the society. So, let's say like you have like a group of like 10 mice or whatever, that these are the evolved mice that have like the missile attack, right, where they can launch missiles from their back. Well, like a projectile, like a spine or something that they can shoot, like a or some kind of spear missile or something. Not like a yeah, like well, it's kind of weird because like when it comes to like for example like lions, like animals that are very restricted to melee combat, you basically have only one male mating with all of the female of that. But when it comes yeah, but like when it's more federated, then you like because that was actually part of the course as well, like talking about like societies and whether they evolved to be mostly monogamous or mostly polygamous. So well, I would love to do it, but the thing is, I contacted these professors. They never got back to me. The copyright for these lectures is actually jointly owned between the professors and the school. So what school? What? Yeah, yeah. The material is copyrighted. Like the, but I mean, how far does that go? Like I like the research. Oh, okay. I mean, I don't even remember word for word what they said. So as long as I cite them like in the work cited, then I should be good. Like, well, the thing is, they didn't ever get the level of prominence in general in the zeitgeist. So, they're it's not like yeah, um, I don't know. I mean, I guess I could just get their book. They have like a book that they published, which is like called "Death from a Distance to Birth of a Humane Universe," which is like yeah, it was a biology course, but a lot of what they discussed wasn't like directly just biology. I mean, they had some of it, of course, but it wasn't like a very yeah interrogator. Uh, he wasn't interested in the topic at least of yeah. You think he's actually into that anime though? Because like he only posts the rabbit, and he's not like he hasn't really mentioned any other animes really. Oh, Goblin Slayer is such a meme anime, I'd say, because like yeah, like everybody says it's so good or they're offended by it, but it's like it's neither really. Yeah, that's what it is. It's okay. That's it's an okay anime. It's like, it's like some dude who goes around, he kills goblins and stuff. Like it's like okay, yeah, it's all right, but like, it's okay. It's not but like people just like hate it for no reason because it has a rape scene. But like listen, like but the thing is, like, there was like only one character who got raped. Like, there was like a freaking like rape. There was like a rape like in the anime Drifters. There was like a rape prison where like the female elves were just basically like rape slaves. Well, a non-Norwegian. Wait. Actually, I'm actually curious. We got to get Cans because he's from Norway. We got to ask him what the rape situation is in the Norwegian prisons because I think before Gabraham Sandwich came in, we mentioned how like going to prison in Norway was kind of like going to college, where you get like internet and a computer and like you have a dorm. So we need to find out like what is like yeah, like so basically there was this girl from Norway that I was associated with that basically described prisons in Norway as going to college, where basically you just stay in a dorm. And I mean, like, I guess that's like one way you could do it. You just go there to Norway. That's what I was saying. Like, you go to Norway, commit some minor crimes so that you can get some. uh, Well, I mean, like, if you have internet, that means you could start your own prison podcast. Like, yo, oh, I thought you were going to talk about Brubaker, the guy who reformed the prison systems. Mhm. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. I mean, the yeah, I mean, from what I've heard is only from the movie what is it called, Blue Streak, where wait, okay, so someone posted a link to so one of Asterios's videos in the other Discord talking about Lucy. Who is Lucy? Abraham, do you know who that is? Lucy the stripper. I don't know who that is though. Is that a character in? Well, no, no. Lucy was the human skeleton that they had found. It's like the, but I'm talking about like someone else. No, it was in Dick's Discord, and like it's basically an Asterios video of Lucy calling out Catgirl while holding a half-empty bottle of vodka, and like she's relatively hot. I mean, like I'm not really into tattoos, but like she has a bunch of them though. I'll post it in the Discord because like you can check it out at your leisure. Yeah, I mean her hair is nice, and then like she's fit, but I'm not really into like the arm tattoos that much, and her face is pretty ish, but like the resolution of the video is a little bit low, so you might need to enhance it. So Asterios lives in New York City, or at least he allegedly lives in New York City. So like, if this is like a New York stripper, like hypothetically, it's not impossible to find. But um, I'm not really into. I've never actually been to a strip club. I don't know anything about how that's done. I'm pretty sure if I go, I'll end up getting kicked out, like that guy from what is it called? What's that guy? The guy from Grand Theft Auto 5 who's always getting kicked out of strip clubs, and like whenever you switch to him, like it's always him in the middle of doing something crazy. Huh? Trevor. Trevor's the guy's name, right? Okay, in Grand Theft Auto 5, there's a character named Trevor who, like, there are three characters that you could switch between, but Trevor specifically is this guy who's like extremely psychotic, and then whenever you switch between the different characters, they're like in the middle of doing something. But when you switch to Trevor, half of the time when you switch to him, he's like in public in his underwear, and like and then like there's like he may be like right outside of a strip club, and like strippers are running away from him screaming, like while he's in his underwear, like out like in the at the entrance of the strip club, and like you don't have any, you don't have a wanted meter at that point, but like it's just, you're just like, what the hell is going on? Like, yeah, I've only played that game a little bit, but that was something that I thought was a little bit weird. That character, who he has all these lackeys as well, which are I don't even understand. He's like this guy who's like he's like almost like an abusive cult leader because he he's very abusive towards his lackeys who are these they're not depicted as the most like brightest people, but they're always willing to do whatever he tells them to do. And yeah. Yeah, but whatever. I think he uses drugs or something to control them, which is, not good. Well, in five he plays three different guys. Like four was one of the was really big. Yeah, I think like when it came out. Yeah. Um yeah, so I don't know. Yeah. So it's best to keep your crimes in the virtual world and not in real life, basically. You don't want to do that in real life. Yeah, man. Oh, you mean like actual virtual crimes like piracy? Like oh. No, I meant like committing crimes in a video game. Like yeah. Oh, okay. Mm. The pipes? What? Oh. Oh man. Oh. Uh, uh, what? Uh, Uh. Oh snap! Sorry. I have to interject for a moment. I gotta apologize because I'm looking at the chat and like Gerard has been posting in the chat, and I like have totally just been like not looking at the chat because I was looking at Discord. Uh, Sorry for not paying attention, Jerry. Like someone was actually chatting in the YouTube chat. Yeah. This is the string. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's like yeah, okay, so hold on a second. Yeah, he was listening since we talked about the zoo sadists and like the furries earlier, and um San Francisco, there's he's saying that Norway has been pretty lenient prison system, and hold on a sec. Okay, opium is a big business. Hold on. Clark County. It's not legal in Vegas. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, prostitution is illegal outside of Vegas, I think he's saying. And then it's been decriminalized in Rhode Island. I'm not entirely. I think that just means you. I don't even know what that means. Um. Okay. Then something central bank rejected the country central before that. Yeah. Okay. He was basically commenting on what we were talking about, and I totally missed out on like all of it. Oh man. He was saying that there was a show called Locked Up Abroad. It's a National Geographic show that, like, I guess focuses on people who go to jail in other countries. Um, I'm assuming it's like someone who was abroad and got locked up, and it's not like a foreign exchange like student or foreign exchange prisoner like program that they have where it's like, oh, we're gonna like yeah, we're like we'll send one of our prisoners to your country, and then like you send there so like they could get like some kind of like cultural experience. No, not extradition, but like it's like a cultural exchange so that like you can learn about the other culture's prison like over there. Yeah. So like you can learn more about like the other country's prison like when you go there, and then they send one of their prisoners to learn what American prison or Mexican prison is like, and yeah, and then they go back to their home prison, and they're like, "Yo, guys, like I learned so much from like the other country's prison, and like this is how they do things differently." Oh, but I heard that Mexico is very anti homosexual though, like in Mexico. I mean, out of proportion, like as in like it's more hated or more accepted in private. Uh huh. Uh, you're making it sound like everybody's gay, but secretly, like. Yo, what the fuck? What? Like everybody in Mexico's gay? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Oh yeah? Are they allowed? Like, does it not count as gay anymore? Like, so like in Mexico, traps are not considered gay. I guess like that the meme. Like, I heard that there was actually a cosplay contest for for like a crossplay contest that was going to be held in Mexico, like the first like international one or something like that. I don't know if that's true. It might have just been a meme, but yeah. Like you dress up as a character, but like that's the opposite gender of you. But like you know, but the thing is like, okay, so here's the thing though, like they don't.
like a lot of people don't really. You'll see like people on Tumblr will not accept it, but if you look at like a Japanese anime, the reason why they have like traps in the anime is because it's funny, right? It's basically a joke, right? But but they're always talking about like no, it's about like transgender stuff and like, but that's usually not what it's about at all. That's not what they're doing when they're doing that. Um, they're taking it way too missing the point. But I remember in like the early 2000s, there was a news article about how, like back in the 2000s, early 2000s, they had the emo trend where like they had this aesthetic of being very skinny and having side swept bangs that cover one of your eyes so that your vision is impaired. And uh, there was an article in an American newspaper saying that in Mexico, um, these people were considered gay and were targeted for assault, and they were like basically would get like beaten up and stuff. Like, is that true or is that? Uh-huh. Bu- So what I'm trying to understand is, but the emo people, the emo guys are not actually gay, or were they like they were called gay, but they're not actually. It's not like there's not like usually a trend where like most of the guys who are into this emo fashion are gay, huh? No, but the news article was saying that the people who liked the emo aesthetic, as in like they would just like use the hairstyle and whatnot, they were called gay, or either that or they were like more associated with being gay. Like more gay people did this, or was it just they were called gay so that they could be targeted that way? Okay, okay, okay. Uh, but that's not even what I was. What that's not what I was even talking about though, because I was talking about like because the emo trend was associated with like a style of like dressing up and music, right? They had like the overly, I guess, depressing music. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it was more like just an excuse to beat them up, so they would just first call them gay, and then that would provide the pretext. Oh, okay. So it has nothing to do with the emos in the first place, basically. Oh, okay. Because of that one time that interrogator posted the rabbit and he looked at it for a little bit too long, and then he caught himself looking at it and he's all like, no, this can't be reality. I cannot accept this reality that I've been looking at this rabbit for more than 5 seconds. This is not an acceptable outcome of my life. Like, uh, I mean, there is this whole NPC meme, and I've been trying to find that Major League and or it's like a National Gops League thing with like that logo I drew that I posted, but I couldn't find it. I was going through the Dick Show Discord, browsing through all the uploaded images, and like I went through like 10 pages and still didn't find it. It was basically what the logo was the you know in America we have like the NBA and the MLB, Major League Baseball, National Basketball Association, etc. And they all have a very similar logo where it's an outline of a person playing the sport, and it's like blue on one side and red on the other side. Yeah, so basically for our national gay ops league, we had I drew the NPC Wojak meme stylized, and then it's like blue on one side, red on the other side because it's the national sport. like, well, as I understand it, gay ops usually involves creating a private Discord that anyone can join. So it's like it's a secret, but it's public, and then you have to come up with these conspiracy like plans to get somebody banned from Twitter or Facebook or something, and that's oh no, like because the way gay ops works is like see the term is weird because it's called gay ops, but it has nothing to do with like homosexuality. It actually just has to do with you create a secret Discord server, right? But the way Discord servers work, well, the way you get in is through like one of those invite links, right? But anyone could give anyone an invite link, so it's like ultimately yeah, so like you post all these secret messages that you have there, and then they invariably get leaked to the public anyway because that's what happens all the time. um I think the first guy who did it was this guy who used the username Kraut, and he basically came up with all these like secret like Discord things, plans, and all that, and then then screenshots of it like surfaced all over the place because he did it on Discord, right? Like it's like, oh, you have all these options like Signal and whatnot to encrypt your messages, but he decided to just use Discord because yeah, Discord's fun. It has a nice looking interface. You can have an avatar and everybody can see what. Yeah, so when you're having a secret, then of course you want to do it on Discord, right? Yeah. Eh, yeah. So that's basically what that was all about. I forgot how we got off on this topic. We kind of like got off on like a bunch of tangents, and then we fell off into the talking about this thing. Gerard says, "I don't trust Discord. It's an invitation to be doxxed." Um, I mean, if anything, Facebook is like the doxing platform. It's basically so your real name. Well, I mean, if you go on Kiwi Farms, you see a lot of people getting doxxed, even though they're not really that prominent. Well, yeah. Okay, I've violated like a whole bunch of those. People do it. It's funny. It's kind of like Yeah, it's a harassment campaign. Oh, well, I mean, like it's. I still think that it could be a little bit dangerous for these journalists to learn to code because they'll be overexerting themselves with and the joke is that they don't get it. I guess I don't know. Well, yeah. Well. I mean, if they want respect, what if they end up getting respected the way like Hazen Cruz likes to respect women, as he was. Well, no, if I've seen the last episode that I had up, where I had Hazen Cruz on. He was talking about how he likes to respect women. You know, he loads up cosplay videos, so that he could respect women before going to bed because it helps him sleep at night. And it's not something you don't want to, yeah, you don't want to do it like too much, right? Like see, like nofap is always a good thing for like short periods of time to build up some testosterone momentum. But once in a while you do it to clear your head. There's this guy Chijo, right? He's very active on the, or he was. I haven't really been keeping up, but on slash cow on 8chan, it's kind of similar to Kiwi Farms, but it's not headed by a single guy that's known. I think it might be an anonymous guy who's running it, but it's a anonymous image board, and Chijo posts all the time, and you can tell it's him because of the way he posts, or maybe he has a trip code. I don't even remember, but he's a guy who became transsexual, and I think he was somewhat involved with that cult. There was a Discord cult for transsexuals last year, I think it was. Um, and he wasn't the leader of it. It was either that guy, Nicholas Fedorov, or this other person who used the username Ryko, and and basically what they did was they had Discord. They had it was a secret Discord, and they would go on R9K. Do you guys know what R9K is? It's all right. R9K is it's a board on 4chan that essentially right now is just a incel, incels, the term incel. Someone like okay, well basically like R9K is the board for incels at this point. Like uh, it used to be essentially like slash b like random, except you can't have a single post that is the same exact post as another one. So each post has to be unique, and if you ever make a repost you get banned for like 2 seconds, and then your ban increases each time you violate that rule, like by like doubling. So like the first time you get banned for 2 seconds, then you get banned for 4 seconds. So it, eventually you can only, so all posts have to be unique. That was the original start of it. It was basically slash B, except you can't do any reposts, right? But then several years later, it just turned into like a forum for incels for some reason. I don't know how that came about, but it's like now the incel forum, and then what these guys did was they would go on the incel forum and they would basically they would post all this propaganda about like you wanna become transgender because your life will be better or something like that, and join this Discord. Then these guys, these are guys who are incels who are not very confident. They're not very socially active, not very socially successful. Well, not necessarily, because I think a lot of them are. No, I think they're more like the Elliot Rogers type. You know Elliot Rogers, that guy who was. Oh, okay. They're more like they hate women because of the lack of attention they get from women. They like because women don't interact with them, so that they are very resentful. So they they like to throw out terms like roasty and all that other stuff, right? So these are the guys that are on there, and they get the transsexual people are posting these propagandas with the link to the Discord to try to get them to join the Discord, and then when they get on the Discord, um, in order to stay on it, they have to post a picture of themselves, like a real life picture, basically. But essentially, they have to dox themselves, right? If they want to stay on the Discord, and they would get yeah. So like if they want to stay on the Discord. Yeah. So like they're saying like, oh, you have to like post a picture, and then like, okay, post a picture of yourself like wearing like a dress or some shit like that, and then they would basically blackmail these guys into like doing whatever they're wanting them to do, because otherwise like they'll leak their pictures or whatever, and then they basically like created like a cult by doing this. So that was that was the cult. Yeah, I think they're like mostly like high school kids and stuff like that. Yeah. So one of these guys, it was a Chijo, right? That was his username. He's on slash cow. He probably has a thread up right now. Let's go take a look. Hold on one second. Huh? Hold up. Is the Chijo thread still up? Let me see here. No, we're talking about 8chan because they have a slash cow board. No, see the thing is 4chan has the R9K board, which is where they would do the recruiting for that cult. But the cow board is where they have a thread on Chijo, who's one of the guys who's like either related or something, and he always posts a lot on slash cow for some reason. I don't know why. Like he posts in his own thread, and he also posts in the Nicholas Fedorov thread, which is also another thing, somewhat related. I don't know. The what? Yeah. I'll post a link in the chat right now. Yes, hello. Okay, so this might be the wrong thread actually, but yeah, like this is the slash cow board, and then they had a thread on Fedorov or whatever. It's a picture of him holding a shotgun. It's like he's like pretending to be like a shooter or something. It's not good. Uh, but yeah, it's like some weird like it's either like some like LARPing thing or whatever, and Chijo was involved. Why am I forgot why I brought him up, but like he was another guy who was like somewhat. What were we talking about before this? Because it was somewhat relevant before, but I forgot where. Oh yeah. So he apparently like dox people and stuff, and then oh yeah, I remember now. We were talking about NoFap. So like yeah, the people who were criticizing him, they were saying that like no, because he became transgendered and he can't one guy was saying like, oh, like you have to be able to jack off to clear your brain, and that's why your brain is all screwed up because you've become transgendered and you can't jack off anymore. And that's basically what the guy was saying to this Chijo guy, right? I remember now, yeah. And the guy was saying like, yeah, you gotta do no fap, you gotta do no fap once in a while, but you gotta also be able to release every once in a while too. Um, well, I mean, like even if like you're doing no fap, like like you're not like gonna do it at all. The idea is that you're still going to have like relations with your wife or whatever, right? You know what I mean? Like let's say you're going to be very very traditional, so you're still going to have like these emissions as we'll call it, right? Or if you don't do anything, you'll have a nocturnal emission while you're sleeping. That's also something that can happen. But with but when we're talking about a guy like we talked about respecting women in the last episode, okay? So when we are talking about this guy here, he can't do any of these things because of like the pills that he's taking, and the guy, a lot of these people are coming up with these hypotheses that like, oh, it's because of this that he's kind of going crazy because this guy is a little bit crazy when you see the way he posts in some of these threads. Um, yeah, that was a tangent that I'm not even sure was even worth it to get into. Um, okay, why are there so many? Oh, wait, what time? We started at 7:30 because it's like already like yeah, East Coast. Oh wow. Yeah, usually we just shoot for 1 hour for these shows. We kind of like got lost. Um, wait, does that mean you work from home, or does that mean like you like are in like a compound or something? Like, oh okay, oh okay. The internet looked like Maddox's webpage back then. Well, in 1996, I imagine it was more like Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. Uh, Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. Wait, wait. He got someone. The girl got attacked by incels. That sounds like It sounds like insects. Uh-huh. Oh, the I, I think the original Digimon like keychains though was like more kind of like random based, where like whether or not you would win, right? No, no, like in the you're talking about the keychains, right? Like, are you talking about like the keychain that's like similar to the Tamagotchi, where it's like but you can click it against another keychain to make them fight, and then like it just randomly chooses who wins. Like that's Digimon, right? My friend had them, and that's how I got to like briefly play with it a bit, and I don't know. It seemed like just kind of like randomly, like it's not like there was a wireless connection because you only have to connect it to initiate the battle, and then it shows an animation, but it seems like it's basically predetermined from like once you connect it, and it just decides who wins at that point, and then it just shows an animation of them exchanging missiles until one of them dies, I guess. No, no, it wasn't on PlayStation. This was like a keychain, it was like a like. Oh, okay. Oh, uh, you know what? They should make like an anime or something that's based off of the keychains, where it's like these kids who have these keychains and they have to battle each other with the keychains. Like what? No, no, no. You just have. I think. I don't know. I think you just get the one keychain. Oh, really? I thought it was like. Wasn't it like randomly generated or something like that? Like because they made a because the original Pokemon trading card game, like the trading card Pokemon game, right? Like the first one, right? Like I played it. The first one sucked though. Like the rules were terrible. It was horrible. Like basically the way you win is you just get a deck full of like Pidgeys and Rattatas, and then like if someone gets a Charmander, they're trying to evolve it to a Charizard. By the time they get the Charizard, they're not gonna have enough energy cards to use any of the attacks, and you can kill it with like a Rattata, right? So it was very unbalanced. The card game, I think they came out with a video game, which is the Pokemon trading card game, like as a video game for the Game Boy or something like that. Where yeah, but I don't know if the gameplay was the same, but it was essentially an RPG, but like you would battle with the Pokemon cards in the game apparently, and uh Uh, yeah. Like it's like basically like RPGs where like you have to fight based on the card collecting. So, what if like you had like an anime or something, and then the premise is like similarly structured to that card battling RPG, but the characters just have these keychains with like the freaking LED monsters on it, and like that's the premise. And like the main character who's trying to make it big in this world of uh, keychain battling. Yo, but like they could totally make this like this could be like the Sonic Boom of like Pokemon, where it's just like straight up just like well, you know the cartoon Sonic Boom. I've only seen one episode of it, but it seems like the premise it seems like the premise is just like basically shitting on Sonic the Hedgehog in general. Like that's uh, yeah, okay. This is a impromptu anime review right here of Sonic Boom. This is like a segment that we had in the early well, yeah. So basically this is the one episode I saw, right? It was the episode on sensitivity training where they were fighting like you know these bad guys, and then like Knuckles was just missing, and then like hey where's Knuckles, and like Knuckles is just like at like a juice bar with his friend who's like this like random rhinoceros that he's hanging out with, or hippo or some other animal, and they eventually come back to him and they're like, "Oh, hey, what were you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I was hanging out with like my friend like Henry or whatever the guy's name is, like Henry the hippo." And then like they get called like, and it's like, "Oh, we have to go fight. There's gonna be a battle." And they're like, "All right, let's go." And then Knuckles is like, "Yeah, okay, I'll go." And then Henry's like, "Yeah, I'll come too." And then like Sonic's like, "You can't come." Because it's like some random animal. Like he's like, "You can't come." It's like, what? Why not? And then like Knuckles is like, yeah, why can't he come? And then like Sonic's like, well, he's like, no, he's like he can't fight. He's just a guy. Like and they're like, and then like all of a sudden like everybody's getting offended. It's like, what? He just said that that guy's just a guy. Like, what do you mean that he's a guy? Blah blah blah. And like, and then the next scene, this was like. I don't know. Like I saw this maybe like last year or the year before, so it was probably an older episode. But I only recently encountered it. So yeah, he the next scene he's like attending a lecture. Like this pink hedgehog is telling him that it's bad to be insensitive to people, and yeah, that's really just the premise. Like eventually, I think like Sonic just like yeah, eventually he just loses it, and he's like, all right, like you know what, guys, you guys can go take care of yourselves. I'm not gonna be yeah, like oh okay. Uh, I mean, he yeah, because he called the hippo like just a guy or something like that. Oh, okay. Uh, okay, so Gerard said that he was hanging out with Michael Malice and encountered Maddox at Lolita Bar, and Lolita Bar has since closed. So, uh, okay. Well, well, actually, the term lolicon. Okay, so Lolita was like a novel by like I think some Russian guy, which is like about like some girl who's like 13 or 14 or something who like she supposedly seduces like an adult male or whatever, and I think lolicon comes from that novel, right? And then when you talk about Lolita, like in terms of like a fashion sense, I have no idea why they call it that, but all I know is that you just say that it's based off of the book if you want to if you want to piss them off. That's all you need to know. Like if you want to troll Lolitas, like the fashion Lolitas, just talk about that book, and they'll get pissed off. You don't even have to. What movie? Oh, based on the book? Yeah, I think it was based off the book. Yeah, 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 yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think the movie was based off of the novel. Yeah, yeah. So it's like about some guy who's like a pedophile or something like that. The girl's name is Lolita. I think that's what it was. 16? In the book, she was like 13 or something. Yeah. Yo. So yeah, that was it. So yeah, that's actually where that term comes from. Now the term Shotakon comes from Shotaro, who's like a character who's like a little boy character. So that's why. So the male version is they use the term Shota because of that. That's where. Yeah, but I don't think they have a corresponding fashion to go with that though. They don't have like a fashion industry thing like that. Yeah, because the Lolita fashion is like pseudo Victorian based or something like that. I don't know. Like no, no, no. The fashion is not based on like trying. It's not like It's not based on like trying to look underage. It's about like freaking European, old school European like imitation style, huh? Yeah, with like the overly ornate dresses and basically being obnoxious and then like it's kind of like you know how like the emo fashion was like associated with like like people would call them gay, according to this news article, which at this point we might as well call it fake news because like did they even go to Mexico? Probably not, right? So it's like yeah, yeah. So like like part of like being a Lolita fashion is you have to like dress like that, and you also have to like kind of act like a bitch, and then like that's also I don't know. That's just like it's like part of the thing. You just have to be like you just have to have like an attitude and be a bitch. Like that's it's part of the fashion. It's not like a personality thing. It's just a fashion thing. You know what I mean? Like no, tsundere is like is not really the same. Like yeah. Okay, so Gerard just pointed it out. Lolita is the daughter of the woman who the protagonist married. So that was and there was a nickname. Oh, she's 12. Okay, that's younger than 13. Okay. Ooh, there were two movies. Okay. Um Vladimir Nabokov. Okay. Um oh wait. Okay, now as I scrolled up it says no need to read them aloud. These are my random musings. I'm like, "Okay." Yeah, he posted that first, but like I was reading it backwards. Okay, that's fine. Um yeah, you should like put in like satire tags. Okay, so everything that has happened in this episode is satire, and we disavow everything. Okay, Uh, okay, yeah, there we go. We should be good. Yeah, this is this is what this is. So yeah. Like all this stuff we disavow. We disavow this, and this all that is a joke. Everything was a joke. Everything I said about Jorge is not even Mexican, right? He's actually Canadian. It's on the opposite side of America right here, right? So like this is yeah, we're just making all this stuff up. Yeah, I'm you could probably argue that. Oh wait, maybe you can explain how do you like how do you feel about the term Latinx? No, Latinx. This term. See, like remember how I mentioned earlier that like Americans have like a very strange understanding of Mexico. Um, you said that Mexico is like kind of exists in a bubble where like you only care about like Mexico for the most part, right? And it's like you're in your own world, right? So America is in its own worlds that it's like a bubble that has like a shitload of like funhouse mirrors on the edge of it so that they see other countries but they don't really understand what they're seeing. Yeah. So like so in America they have this term called Latinx, which is what they use to refer to like Latinos or Latinas, but I guess it's like they use like an X instead of an O or an A because I don't even know. Like I just know it's like Latinx and it's um okay, hold on a second. Okay, so Gerard is talking about how he is it's Venezuelan refugees refer to she referred to herself as Ecuadorian X. I think it might be like a transgender thing. Let me look it up. Hold on a second. A person of Latin American origin or descent, used as a gender neutral or non binary alternative to Latino or Latina. So basically, it's like if you don't want to use Latino or Latina, but you want like a gender neutral version of it. Okay. All right. Well, I think I might have mentioned this in a previous episode, but I think that like the ultimate goal is to reach the post bathroom society, right? Because if we think about it, like back in the day, America was segregated, so you had four bathrooms. You had like the men's room, the women's room, but then you had like the colored men's room, the colored women's room, and that was bad because like it was racist. So they got rid of the segregation, and then now you just have the men's room and the women's room. So these days, what they're trying to do is they're trying to consolidate it to make it into like a gender neutral bathroom. So there's only one bathroom. But I think beyond that, like there's a further goal where we can reach a post bathroom society where we no longer have bathrooms, and because like I don't know because apparently like more bathrooms is more bad, so we went down from four to two. It, okay, did they get rid of the did they get rid of the men's room and the women's room? Oh, oh, but the thing is like I was thinking that that kind of is moving in the wrong direction because they're increasing the number of bathrooms from two to three, whereas it would have been better to, because okay, All right. Okay. Yeah. 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 Oh, because I remember, we mentioned. So, uh, you're basically saying Maddox was wrong when he said that that never happens, because there was actually an argument between Dick Masterson and Maddox had an argument saying that like Maddox said that like it never happens that like a man would just pretend to be a woman to get into the bathroom and assault someone. Mhm. Oh, okay. So, hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Oh. Hmm. Hmm. Yo, that's yeah, that's pretty messed up. Hmm. 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 Oh, Gabraham, did you ever listen to that episode where they were where Dick and Maddox were arguing about that in Biggest Problem? Yeah, because like that was one of the things where like Maddox was basically saying that that never happens, but then apparently, according to Jorge, it did. Yeah. Mm. Oh, okay. Well, the joke is obvious at this point. Well, the joke it being saying like, well, you don't want to have a long line for the men's bathroom at this point. Like, well, I'll say this much: the cell phones. You have a cell phone, you keep it in your pocket, you go to the bathroom, it's still in your pocket. Oh, see, it's that yeah, that's recording you right there. Yeah, man. I mean, it might be. I mean, I'm not saying it is, but you know, like I'm saying like you might have the Alexa app and maybe yeah, yeah. See, like you may not be able to become the celebrity you've always wanted to be, but at least you'll be able to be a celebrity to the NSA and the those folks right there. I don't know. Isn't that what the episode of South Park was? Like the NSA employee, like all they do is just watch people take dumps all the time, and like they're just. But I think I think that was like an episode of South Park where like essentially it was just like this one NSA guy who's like this like really creepy creep that like just I don't know. It's because like the fucking NSA just likes to have they want to get the good stuff that you're not going to be able to find on Pornhub. Like you can't find this there. It's like yeah, the good stuff. Yeah, yeah, and you hear the sounds. You see the cardigan. You hear the sounds, and your mind fills in the blanks, and that's what through the microphone. And this is the we're talking about. I think at this point we are talking about bathroom ASMR. I think that is the technical term. Uh, Okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna put this here on Business Boys Online, episode 14, Bathroom ASMR with Jorge Escobar and GabrahamSandwich. It's a reference to like people like making sounds and to try to get a tingly sensation. Yeah, the ASMR abbreviation itself is it refers to like that tingly sensation, but I think it was like autonomous sensory meridian response. I think that's what it was called. So it's like some like nonsense term they just kind of hacked together. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They have a bunch of them on YouTube, like ASMR stuff. It's like i- it's the opposite. It's basically the opposite of a chill run. You know, like the chill in your spine. It's the opposite of that, basically. Yeah, yeah. The chill, the chill that you get, like the chill in your spine, like when you're creeped out, is like the opposite of that. Oh, okay. The NSA, I think they're the the NSA stands for uh the national yeah, they're the national super aficionados of the ASMR. Like, I mean, you see, like the Mexican federal government has to do these things with databases and stuff, but the American federal government, we've gone past that. We've gone right to the ASMR, which is like, we get the good stuff right away. Yeah, you know. Oh, yeah, they get biometrics, all right. Getting biometrics from the bathroom right there. Yeah, man, they get like samples of they get samples of everyone's biomass. From from that. I don't know. Uh, I mean that sounds like that could be a new superhero, right? Wait, what? I was never I was never into superheroes, but you could make the same thing like Captain Planet. Like he looks like his skin is made out of aluminum, so like you could say the same thing about Captain Planet, really, huh? Well, all I know is yeah, it was like all the powers that combined to make Captain Planet, and then like the only cool powers were the fire ring and the earth ring, like because like wasn't there like an episode where they tried to summon him. No, so the planet, like Captain Planet, just like he fights against pollution, like literally fights against pollution. Like he punches pollution and shit. Like that's what he does. Um, and then like I think the villains of Captain Planet were these bad guys who were creating these like pollution machines, like just for the sake of polluting. Like their end goal was like it's not like they were trying to get rich or anything like that. It's they weren't trying to they weren't trying to make money. They weren't trying to take over the world. Their goals were mainly to pollute for the sake of pollution, like because they were just that bad. Like these bad guys. Yeah, so like so Captain Planet has to fight these bad guys who just want to pollute so badly, um, and that's the premise. So you had one guy who had the fire ring that could like shoot fire out of it, and then the other guy had the earth ring. The earth ring was cool because he could like make like plateaus shoot out of the ground, but he never used it the way he should have used it, which is like let's say like there's a bad guy. Yeah, like so, like the bad guy's like about to like punch him or something, and then he uses the earth ring and like makes the ground like shoot up like and like hit the guy in the crotch, right? Like it's basically designed to like get like cheap crotch shots like really easily, but he wasn't using it tactically in that sense. So yeah, but I mean, I'm pretty sure you could just like you could also use it to like hit the guy in the crotch, which is a more tactical approach because a giant chasm could have a lot more collateral damage than just like a surgical strike to like a bad guy's nads right there, huh? The love ring kind of acted like a cell phone, and or it may have yeah, I think like that guy had a monkey. No, no, no. Like the love ring is like a is a no. It was called the heart ring, and it was basically a cell phone. Like he could telepathically talk to people, and like I, I I think he also had like the power to turn bad guys gay as well. Like I don't know why that was included, but that was also like a power he had. Um, yeah, so I think it was like a message because like the show was about environmentalism, and I think that the heart ring had something to do with it, and I'm you know what I'm not sure about this, but okay, this is like another impromptu like fan fiction right here. I'm just gonna write my Captain Planet fan fiction right here live. Um, there's this like this secret episode where the bad guys are trying to pollute the Earth, right? And they manage to separate the Planeteers, and then the fire guy and the Earth guy. I forgot what their names were, but um I think the fire guy was like from New York, and then like the Earth guy was like from Africa or something. So they try to summon Captain Planet, and like because they're the only two that have like rings that actually do shit, they're able to successfully summon Captain Planet, and like you don't even need like the other rings because you just need those two. And then Captain Planet's there, and like he kicks the bad guy's ass, and then like that's the end of that episode. They don't matter. No, no, they don't matter. Like that's like the it's like you had the water ring and the heart ring and like some other ring. I don't even remember what the last one was. Like, see, that's because it doesn't matter. Oh, winds. Like it's like a wind ring. Like there were five. There were five rings. So it's Earth, winds. The Russian girl was the water one. Yeah. Wait, what? Yeah, the Indian guy. He was the Indian guy. He had the heart ring and he had a monkey too. Yeah, he had a monkey. He had like a trained monkey that like I don't know, like that did like karate or something. Wait, he was Mexican? What? I don't know. I mean, are you sure the Mexican guy wasn't like a Magic School Bus character? Like, I'm thinking of a different show at this point. All right, so like we need the crossover episode of like the Captain Planet and the Magic School Bus where like they have to team up to take out like these bad guys that are trying to pollute the earth. Hmm? Well, it was never actually explained why like the end game was for the polluters like when they finished like polluting the earth like yeah, that was never actually explained as far as I can remember. Like they just kind of it was kind of like a YOLO thing, right? Like there was like, oh, we're gonna build this machine that just like dumps toxic waste into the ocean. Like I don't even know where they're getting all the toxic waste from, but like they made a machine that just builds toxic waste to dump in the ocean, and like yeah, like it's because Captain Planet. That's no, there wasn't actually. There was an evil Captain Planet. I remember I saw one episode. There was an evil Captain Planet that like he basically he looked like Captain Planet except he had like he was dirty and the logo on his chest was like a broken planet and he actually had to fight Captain Planet and then like he I think he won. He beat Captain Planet and then like because yeah, yeah, he beat Captain Planet because like there was one part where like he was fighting him and then he like escaped, but punctured the there was this like oil tanker that he punctured and like the oil tanker started just leaking like pollution and it was like hitting Captain Planet which was like severely damaging him because like he gets damaged by pollution so he seals the tanker uh before passing out. Well, I just remember this one scene. It was like the end of like I think it was a multi-part episode because like I'm pretty sure like Captain Planet like beats him in a later episode. No, I didn't see the follow-up episode. I just saw this one where like he seals the tanker before passing out. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, we should set up a movie night on Rabbit to watch this Captain Planet thing and see how accurate my descriptions were. Yeah, man, the planet. It's Yo, I think that was the guy. That was like the evil Captain Planet. Yeah. Wait, wait, oh, really? I thought he was like hanging out in like a cup of coffee. Like, oh yeah, you use coffee grounds to fertilize plants. You can do that. That works. Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, their plants need. Well, have you ever seen that movie, The Mule? With Clint Eastwood. Oh, okay. So the Mule, yeah. So Dick Masterson had a special episode where he was doing a commentary for the movie The Goonies, and he explains to his friend Sean that his dad taught his mom like Spanish, but taught him the wrong meanings of words. So um, he said his dad had taught his mom that the word cabron means like a hardworking man, like an upstanding hardworking guy. So so I'm watching this movie, The Mule, right? And it has like a lot of Mexican guys. So the guys are always shouting. It's like oh sit down cabron blah blah blah. They're saying talking to each other like that. And like because I had heard this episode Dick had put out before. I'm like well, it's funny because hearing that it's like you can imagine like oh these guys sure do recognize hard work a lot. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, he plays a guy who is based off of a guy who was an actual mule in real life, like who was transporting drugs and stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So he's a botanist, like he's a no, not a botanist, a horticultural guy. Like he does plants and flowers and stuff, and his thing goes out of business. So then he starts transporting drugs, and then yeah. No, it's not Breaking Bad. It's he's not making the drugs. He's just transporting it. Yeah, and then he's like this guy who's like he used to be like into like making like plants and stuff, and then like he just ends up like getting involved like by accident with like this cartel, and then he ends up like just like having relations with hookers like throughout the movie. Oh yeah, it was a pretty good movie. Yeah, but the thing is, like, he was the director of it too. So, like, that means Clint Eastwood was the one who was telling the cameraman to film all of the ass shots because, like, there are a lot of ass shots in this movie. Like, because like no, because like there were like a lot of scenes where like there were like all these like hookers and stuff, and like um and then he has a sex scene he has a sex scene with two girls. He has a sex scene as like a threesome with these like two. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, he was the director of this movie too, and he's also the star of it. So like he's basically like I guess he's living it up. Like I don't know. Yeah. Uh, I mean, yeah. Oh yeah. Uh. You're talking about Wild Wild West with Will Smith, like the robotic spider. Oh yeah. Yeah, Gerard is recommending the movie The Beguiled, so maybe we'll set that up on Rabbit Night, and then we'll watch it on Rabbit. Yeah. Well, okay, on Rabbit, like I don't even know what's allowed to be streamed on there, but it's in a virtual machine, and then Antoids. He is basically like he's streaming Shin-chan, but he's going on those websites that you shouldn't be going on because you might get a computer virus. But since it's in a VM, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's like it's Rabbit's computer, so I'm not worried about it. The website is rabb.it, so it's like it's Rabbit, right? Um, and It depends on which company you're pirating from. If it's Disney, then you're gonna get busted. If it's if it's anime from Japan, then they're not gonna care. Yeah, just use a VPN, right? And don't download Disney. Yeah, don't download anything from Disney. Okay, here's my rundown on torrents. Okay, in terms of America, if it's a Disney property, then they're gonna go after you because like Disney cares a lot about that. If it's like a if it's like a company, a foreign company, like a Japanese anime that hasn't been licensed yet in the U.S., no one's really gonna care. And then if it's been licensed, then it basically depends on how much money is involved in terms of like a company that that answers to the U.S. government when it comes to taxes or something or jurisdiction for license. Oh, I don't know about Netflix because hold on a second. Yeah, I don't condone anything. I think that like whatever you're doing, you should just never do anything. Yeah, yeah, don't do anything ever. Never do anything. Yeah. Yeah, like in fact, not only do I not do anything and advise everyone to not do anything, but I also disavow everything and advise that everybody also disavow everything as well. See, this is like the way that you never get banned from Twitter. Is just by what? I didn't talk about rape. I mean, the only person who can get away with joking about rape is Ali G, not Ali G's Borat, who's played by Sacha Baron Cohen. He's the he's America's um edgiest comedian that can be accepted by the mainstream. It means that he can make jokes that are edgy and it'll be okay, but if you go any edgier than him, then you're not okay. So, if you uh like the one where he pretended to be an Eastern European who talked about his country's hobbies such as like playing basketball and rape like as like their national like sports or whatever. Yeah, he was pretending to be from Kazakhstan, and this was like back in like early 2000s. Yeah, I mean he can get away with it, so I guess that's okay. But yeah, um, Sam Hyde, that's uh that's not gonna fly over too well. Yeah. No, humor's not he's not dead. He's just hiding under the covers because you know because the boogeyman is out. Well, actually, I think that the way it works is like I don't know, like Jesse Lee Peterson kind of gets away with it, right? Like he kind of just like does the whole like whatever he does. Mm, well, what I know that if you want to be popular on Netflix, all you have to do really is just be a comedian that doesn't tell jokes, and then you can be successful. I mean, like if you think about it, that's like it's actually better than comedians because it makes the industry easier because you don't have to be as funny. So back before when it was hard for people to become comedians because you had to be funny, now you can get on Netflix and you don't have to be funny, and it makes it easier to become a comedian and follow your dreams of comedy. Well, I mean, you could get it on Netflix and have a bunch of bots watching you. I mean, if you look at our Discord channel right now, the majority of members are bots, right? You got you look at online. You got 17 people online. How many of them are bots? Oh, okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Dutch deals. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So so one of the things that you can do in a Discord channel, if you make a Discord channel, is you can add bots to it. So I've decided to add like a bunch of bots to this, because that way it looks like there are people. Huh? It's just like, yeah, it's like literal bots, just like in the Discord channel, just chilling out. Uh, Well, you can use them to customize your channel to like so that you can issue commands so that like it can make them, for example, play music or post like a meme, or like you could use it to assign roles. But what I ended up doing is I just installed a lot of bots and just didn't give them any permissions, so they can't really do anything. They just sit there. Yeah, they just sit there and listen to us. Just. Yeah, yeah, they're like NPCs. Like we got our very own NPC army here in our Discord. Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. So I figured like why not? So that's why we had these other channels here. We have a channel here for bots only and paid Russians only because of our you know our target audience being the bots and the paid Russians that are paid to watch us. So that way we have the best audience. Who us? Um, well, well, no, no, no. It's fine. It's more like the Russians. If you pay them to do stuff, then it's okay. Like it's okay as long as you pay them. That's what we've learned from the Steele dossier. If you pay the Foreign Intelligence Agency, it's okay as long as they don't do it for free. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think it was an issue because they weren't paid. So it was like a workers' rights issue thing. Like cuz you see when Hillary Clinton hired Steele to dig up dirt on the Trump campaign, he was like a a foreign intelligence agency agent who worked for the British, but he was paid, so that's why it was okay. But I don't think the Trump campaign paid the Russians, and that is the issue there. Yeah. So it's like because like imagine if you did a bunch of work for somebody, right, and then you didn't get paid. That yeah, yeah, man, that's a ripoff, right? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you paid somebody to pay somebody. Wait, what? Wait, wait. So, oh, so yeah, yeah. I mean, like, there should be a way to like. I mean, I think that there's like a they call it like currency trading. Like, I think it's not really that different from like trading cryptocurrency, where like you just you buy one currency and then you sell another, and then yeah, something like that. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. Oh, so Null from Kiwi Farms, he was doing a stream and he talked about how he bought a hamburger from like a Russian guy or something using Bitcoin. Oh, okay. Wait, human trafficking? What? Like that? Oh, uh huh. Oh, that. Uh. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah. Mm. That's a little bit. Yeah. I mean, I'm not quite sure why would they would do that, but maybe maybe you can figure that out later. The Bitcoin thing. But in the coffee, that's like the bad guy Captain Planet though. That's not like the real one. Oh, is that like a joke or is that like a real live action movie? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. My favorite parody movie, or rather parody like trailer for a movie, is the Italian Spider Man. It was like a YouTube video. Yeah, Italian Spider Man, where it's like this like fat guy wearing a like a Spider Man like shirt, and he runs around basically he punches people in the face, and then there's like a scene where like these high school guys like are like you know harassing a lady who's walking by, and then the Italian Spider-Man shows up and like punches the guy and tells him to respect women, and then like the lady's like, oh, thank you. It's like, oh, it was just, he's like she's saying thank you to him, and then yeah, he punches her. Yeah, yeah, it's a YouTube video. Yeah, and then I think they started making making the actual movie, but it's not as good as the trailer. The trailer, because the trailer just like cuts to all of, like the good parts right away, and but the movie, of course, like that they were making, it was pretty funny a little bit because he's Spider Man, right? But the first fight scene, he doesn't do any like Spider-Man stuff, like no web shooting or anything like that. He flips the table over and pulls out a shotgun and starts shooting people. And like that's yeah, that's how he fights the bad guys, which is yeah. I mean, it's not necessarily. I mean, if they're being bad first, then I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Uh, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I think what it was like I think collectively everybody decided that things were getting too funny, so they needed to tone it down a bit. I mean, back in the day, like things were kind of boring. If you think about it, like you look at older films, I guess, or maybe jokes were just a bit different back then. I don't know, because if you think about like because as bad as censorship is, there is kind of a lot more that can be gotten away with compared to in the past. Especially with like when TV was the only option, you still had the FCC or whatever. I don't know, like all these councils for I don't know, think of the children type thing. It was more about like trying to protect the children or something, so that like they wouldn't want people swearing or anything like that. Oh yeah. Well, well, they tried that, but then here's what ended up happening, right? This guy Jack Thompson, who was the guy who was trying to get video games banned, and I think he was one of the guys who was criticizing Mortal Kombat. He wrote a challenge saying like, "Oh, I bet you would never, no one would ever make a game where you go to E3 and shoot up like the electronic entertainment expo because that would cause somebody to do it in real life. Like I bet like $10,000 or something like that." So then these guys made a video game called I'm Okay, a Murder Simulator, where you play as a parent whose son was killed by somebody who had played video games. So he goes on a rampage across America to get revenge by eventually shooting up E3, and um, so it was like it was this was before Hatred. This was like early 2000s when this came out. So yeah, so when this came out, Jack Thompson didn't give them any money. He said like, "No, I was joking, blah blah blah," and then like I think like Penny Arcade ended up giving the developers money instead. Um, so yeah, that was something that happened. It was a pretty interesting game. It was a game that was released for free. You could probably still find it somewhere, but maybe like there's a link on Wikipedia or something. But it's not. It's really not because you know oh mm. Well, I think a lot of them had either like negligent parents or and then also like they had a lot of issues. But the thing is, it's kind of interesting because as the meme of hey, don't mess with that kid, you don't want him shooting up the school, kind of became a meme in schools. Bullying statistically went down after the school shootings had happened, and then subsequently, after bullying had gone down, school shootings have gone down, which is there was a rise. There was a rise in school shootings in like the late 90s, early 2000s. There were like shootings, right? Um, but then after that, bullying in schools had gone down, and then after bullying had gone down, school shootings they're a lot lower than before. Like at this point, statistically, they're still counting shooting that takes place near a school but not at the school as a school shooting. So I think some of them might have been. Others were just like unstable, like psychologically unstable or whatever. Um, but yeah, but the thing is, there was but in like the mid 2000s, there it was kind of like a meme that people would kind of joke around saying like, "Oh, don't pick on that kid. You don't want him shooting up the school." But it actually had some kind of effect where you wouldn't pick on a kid because you wouldn't want them to shoot up the school. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, if bullying is if I mean if that statistic is true that bullying is down, and then I guess it kind of makes sense. Mm. Okay. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, I mean, we don't want anyone really suffering, you know what I mean? Um, but mm, uh, Mm. Yeah, yeah. So there was also what else were we talking about? One of the interesting things about I'm Okay, a Murder Simulator is that it was really taking the idea that video games cause violence to like an absurd extreme where you were basically going around fighting people like one of the stages was an arcade and the boss that you have to fight at that arcade is this guy playing DDR, you know that game Dance Dance Revolution? Yeah. Yeah. So that's the boss that you have to fight is a guy who's playing that game. And the guy's like, I don't know what murder simulator you're on right now, but I'm gonna put a stop to this, and then you basically have to fight him. Yeah. Well, you shoot at him like he dances and you shoot at him. Yeah. So okay. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Uh, yeah. Yeah. Uh. Oh. So what you're saying is that this the video game is the violence version of jacking off, basically. So that like you okay. Yeah, all right, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Is Gabraham back? Oh yeah, that's cool. Uh yeah, I actually should yeah, I'm actually a bit surprised. It's like 11 o'clock right now over here. Um Yeah, I mean, you're more than welcome to come on to the next episode next time we stream. I'll wrap this up. Yeah, okay. Okay, bye.